r/ASKREDDIT by Reddit Stories. What video game do you wish you could experience again for the first time? You can only solve those puzzles for the first time once. GLaDOS's dialogue never gets old though. And Portal 2 came here to say the same. This so far is the only game I started and finished in one sitting, and it was absolutely brilliant. Portal 2 is long though, so there's lots of additional content. But yes, the original is something special. This is a triumph. Ocarina of Time. When I was a kid it made my brain explode, and it still holds up so well today. Listen. My most anticipated game. Buying Nintendo Powers just to read about it and see pictures. The grappling hook and riding a horse. The moon and sun rising and setting. I was in 9th grade when it came out and could not wait to get home to go out and buy it. Link to the Past would be my choice to play for the first time again. That game made me love video games. Came here for this and can't believe I had to scroll as far as I did, lol. The first BioShock. Every time, dude. Absolutely. The random screams of terror, the splicer singing, hearing them taunt you as they're stalking you, loading up to fight a big daddy. This. The atmosphere, the horror, the weird abandoned beauty, the pervading sense of unease, the ending, hands down one of the best storytelling games I played. It's one of my favorites to this day. This was my first instinct as well. Yeah, this is a good answer. That elevator ride down and city reveal was one of the most amazing moments in video game history. Stunning. And you really can't ever relive that. It's always amazing, but the first one just hit different. Also, due to the progression of technology, BioShock is starting to look its age. So to go back to a simpler time, when we weren't spoiled by new-gen systems, and relive that elevator ride, man. I would have gotten baked so I could enjoy even further. The best story in a game MO too. I beat them all right at release, but for whatever reason never beat Burial at Sea, and just did 2 weeks ago. Amazing. Third time I've seen BioShock mentioned on Reddit today. And I just started my first playthrough a few days ago. Took me a couple times to get into it, but I'm freaking hooked. Just took the 3 pictures of 3 spider slicers, so not very far in I guess. I have the set that comes with BioShock 2 and BioShock Infinite. Definitely looking forward to them. I'm actually playing it for my second time RN. I love the graphics. It's beautiful. The second two, I'm not a fan of Infinite, I'm more or less playing them again for the achievements, but getting to play it myself instead of watching it on YouTube was crazy amazing. The original Pokemon games on Nintendo Game Boy, Pokemon was a whole new world to explore all on my own. Completely foreign mechanics, no guides, not much video game experience before that. It was so exciting and mysterious. Leveling up my blast was till I could 2-shot Lorelai's Dugong with Hydro Pump because starters are more important than type advantage. Totally. Pokemon is the best. Came to say this. I miss the time when I had to go to my cousin's place to play together. My mum would take me only on Sunday after I tidied my room. Gosh, I wish I were that young again. Instead I worked 12 hours a day to meet the deadline, and today I got more bugs than yesterday. Not many guides, but everyone still knew about the unlimited items trick. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. Completely agree, that game changed my life. KOTOR 2, and then Jade Empire. That's when I learned about game engines. I remember sitting on the floor of my room on a weekend afternoon, where I had my computer for some reason, and actually gasping at the villain reveal. Like everything else about the memory is hazy, but that one single flash is crystallized. God, I loved that game. Half-Life 2. We don't go to Ravenholm. 100% same. I have such a vivid memory of playing the demo on PC, late at night with all the lights out, as a kid. The demo was Ravenholm. I was terrified and thrilled, and I could not wait to get my hands on the full game. It's easily still my goat, and I feel like I'm constantly chasing the HL2 high when looking for new games. Any RECS? I just finished A Plague Tale, and the pacing/progression of the story in that game reminded me of Half-Life, in a way. Skyrim. I've played it so much at this point that it bores me to death now. But when I first played it, I was obsessed for hundreds of hours. I played it in VR and it was an amazing experience. Walking across the wintry mountains on the north side of the map was atmospheric as hell. Filling my houses with loot just isn't the same all these years later. Simply because I started gaming when it came out, I prefer Morrowind. But it was the exact same feeling. I was amazed and could not set it down. I'd only played a few games before then, like Baldur's Gate and Planescape. Amazing in their own rights, but seeing a beautifully rendered night sky with those big moons and walking through truly unique biomes as you saw in Morrowind was jaw-dropping for teenaged me. It's hard to start a save file, or even just jump back in. That was a very fun game to play for the first time. The only other game that made me feel that way was Witcher 3. It's strange, because I look at the game as rather dated now, 9 years old, but I've yet to find much if anything else that had such a quantity and quality of gameplay in an open world like that. Stardew Valley. Fully agree. I still love the game and play it regularly, but nothing beats your first playthrough when you discover the secrets of the valley, get to know people and really explore. Breath of the Wild. Being terrified of Linnells, Guardians, Hyrule Castle, etc. Seeing the dragons for the first time. King Roam's unmasking. So many experiences that I'll never have again. The preparation and journey to Zora's domain was so damn good. It was the first beast I decided to go for, and the whole thing was so epic. Guardian's music trigger my fight or flight response. Hearing that faint, familiar song when getting near a stable you haven't found yet. The music cues alone. Love this game. I was looking for this. BOTW is overwhelmingly spectacular in the best way. I recommend it to everyone I know who owns a Switch. On my first playthrough now. So good. Not that I don't like replaying that game, but yeah, discovering what's over the next horizon is a big part of what makes it fun. Once you know where everything is, it's not quite the same. I bought a Switch for quarantine a month ago. I'm playing it for the first time RN. It's amazing. Those dragons terrified me the first time I saw one. Super Mario 64. The Stanley Parable. Man, that game makes you want to discover every single ending. Did you get the ending where Stanley locks you in the lunchroom and shouts, "Boy, have you lost your mind, 'cause he'll help you find it"? Red Dead Redemption 2. The many miles we walk. TBH, I wouldn't mind experience the whole month before the game released. All of that excitement and hype is something I will never experience again in a long time. I still remember how every day I would go on YouTube and watch the daily news of RDR2 and also reading articles about the game. And obviously experience the first time I loaded up the game, and to this day it feels surreal. It was not a game for me. It was an experience filled with heartbreak, betrayal, tragedy, and the overall demise of the gang. And by far the saddest moment was the death of my horse. Playing Chapter 6 shatters your heart in pieces as it shows your gang members leaving, Dutch getting insane, and Arthur crumbling at every step. You're a good boy. Same man, that game literally changed me. It was a roller coaster of emotions. I want to experience that again. GTA V played the heck out of it and now can't play it for more than few minutes. I grew tired of it, but I still love it. Assassin's Creed. Specifically Black Flag for me. Like most people, I consider it some of the most fun I've had in the series so far. And what hooked me was the exploration and characters and heart on the first playthrough. I've recently tried to go back and play it from the start, and the bugs, tailing missions, bad combat, loosest parkour system in the series, modern day walking sim, all the things that I was able to look beyond as I was engrossed with the exploration or characters just took over the experience on a repeat. So much that I couldn't keep playing past the first visit to Havana. I didn't have those problems revisiting the Ezio trilogy or Unity and Syndicate. Fallout, New Vegas. I keep hearing this is the best Fallout game made. Same for me, I've spent countless hours on New Vegas and I love every minute of it, but nothing will beat the first time I woke up to the dock. Morrowind, stepping off the boat and going exploring into this amazing world was incredible the first time. You've only just arrived, but our records don't show from where. Thank you. Morrowind is easily in my top 5 favorite games of all time, it might even be number 1. I hadn't even heard of the TES series before I picked it up, it was just a random grab off a Best Buy shelf, but I played that for years until Oblivion came out. I don't think I ever finished everything the game had to offer. The fact that only certain lines were voice acted meant they could add a lot more content to the game. Some of the mods people made for it were incredible. I remember one where you could achieve godhood after beating the story, getting to go to the source of where the Dra get their power, and you could pick what you wanted to be the god of. Being the hunter god allowed you to jump clear across the map in like one jump, lol. The Last of Us. That game actually made me experience emotions that movies have a difficult time bringing out of me. Are we the baddies? Cue up 3 days of existential dread. I seriously thought the game's plot was better than most movie/TV shows. Can't wait for the second one. Really hoping it's at least as good as the original. I agree, I normally listen to music as the dialogue sometimes isn't that interesting, but for The Last of Us, Spotify was rarely used while I immersed myself into that game. Wii Sports. Absolutely thrilling using a controller that required physical movement for the first time, felt like I was living in the future. I would second this one. Too soon, I learned that I could bowl from the couch. I'm really struggling to get into it, honestly. I want to love it, especially because I know the story will be great, but the gameplay/combat is irritating me. Would love to re-experience the sense of awe I felt when seeing the first Colossus in Shadow of Colossus, followed by the sense of longing I got when I brought him down. The Mass Effect trilogy, but specifically the first in the series. The gameplay was great and the storyline was incredible. The mix of the two is something that I've rarely seen in a first-person shooter game. Mass Effect 2, with the DLCs, was the top one for me. The whole trilogy was superb though. I just bought the complete trilogy and nearly finished my first complete playthrough in years. I asked my characters all the questions. It's not about the gameplay so much as the story. The characters themselves, even the dialogue of the NPCs standing around on the map, they have so much depth. I'd advise listening to their stories. You may need to have a box of tissue handy. Some stories don't have a happy outcome. The voice acting is fantastic and holds up with each game. I can't recall how many times I listened to Morton Solus' rendition of Modern Major General. I cried twice during Me 3. If you know which characters I'm talking about, that is an understatement. The gameplay being finessed with each game. Me 3 I turned full Biotic God Vanguard and just wrecked all over the map. You can feel so overpowered even on hardcore. Also, what games out there actually build on the predecessor? Rex, my wrecking partner. Gurus they had to give you every time because he was the best wingman. The adorable Quarian who becomes stronger and stronger to defy centuries-held prejudice. Seeing everything come to fruition in the finale was just perfect. Granted, the actual ending itself was lackluster. But the ending for the characters themselves is unmatched. Not to mention that the DLCs add something. My favorite being the Citadel, where it is just a celebration of nostalgia for your characters. Seeing everyone be laid back and joke around for a change. It's a pleasant surprise when the galaxy is on the verge of ending. Anyway, as I'm sure you can tell, the Mass Effect trilogy is one of my absolute favorite games/series. It's why I hesitate in finishing this most recent playthrough. It's on pause, suspended in time. A moment of enjoyment, kept in a little time capsule that doesn't have to end. Horizon Zero Dawn. Went in with zero knowledge and expectations and it became one of my favorites of all time. I hit about 10 HRS today. Looked up how long to beat, found tons of posts from people saying they are over 200 hours. I am set for the rest of my social isolation. So I'm on my first playthrough, and last night I came across a landmark that is real and right across the street where I work. Then a few hours later I found another landmark from my hometown. It blew me away. What an awesome game. I'll never forget the first time climbing up that mountain and finding the remains of Gaia Prime. Pure emotion. Absolutely amazing game. Minecraft. Yeah, but like before, from the age of fixed-sized worlds and barely any features all the way through. Oh yeah, I loved that game. I still do, and I'm saving up to buy it for PC. Yeah, right. Like you want to experience hours looking for cobblestone because it didn't drop from breaking stone with your fist. Who else remembers their first moment in Minecraft? Mine was in a coniferous forest, and I died to a spider because I tried to be its friend. Never again. Definitely. I haven't played it before. My BF offers to buy it for me. Should I proceed? Witcher 3 for sure. I am currently playing The Witcher for the first time, and let me tell you, it has quickly become one of my favorite games ever. It has ruined all other RPGs for me. All other RPGs are now just pale imitations of Witcher 3. I need Cyberpunk 2077. Halo. My god, I would love to experience the Flood again for the first time with the most eeriest music, getting chills down my spine, while I look behind me every so often to make sure they weren't following me or behind me. The story was good too. First game that comes to mind. Undertale, because I never did. The story was spoiled to me from the beginning. Don't make the same mistake and get Deltarune spoiled when it comes out. Pokemon Diamond without knowing anything about Pokemon. So that I can fully enjoy this adventure again. That was my first one too. Smiley face. Diablo 2. RuneScape. Even though they brought back old school, thing have become too much about being the most efficient compared to the old days. I miss people walking around with maces and chain bodies because they don't know better. Those first moments walking from Lumbridge to Varrock, killing goblins and cows before getting slaughtered by the Dark Wizards. Super Mario World blew me away when I first played it back in the early 90s. Far Cry 3. Scrolled way too long to find this. Far Cry 3 was the story-based video game I ever played, and I would love to experience Brody's descent into madness all over again without knowing what would happen next. Persona 5. That game is very dependent on you experiencing the story for the first time blind. That being said, the experience gets lost when you know what to expect. Final Fantasy VI. Life is Strange. Yes. I decided I would pick up the first chapter just because it was free, and now I can't listen to the soundtrack without being overwhelmed with hard to describe feelings. This game was a roller coaster of emotions. Ashley Birch killed it as Chloe and made her relatable even though her and I have nothing in common. Have you played Life is Strange too? I was playing the first one, and then at the end of the second episode, Xbox removed it from Game Pass. I was so bummed, but 2 was up so I downloaded it and played it. Oh my gosh, I love Sean and Daniel so much. Very similar to TWD Season 4, you get to see how your decisions formed the child character's morals and lifestyle. Legendary game. Subnautica, that game is the only game that is good once, the next time is just sorta at. Was looking for this one. I went in totally blind, no idea what the game was about other than there was underwater gameplay. Didn't even know it was a survival style game. I have never had a gaming experience like that and still haven't. The total unknown of how big the map was, how deep, etc. I fucked up though and got my first clops destroyed at the edge of the map within minutes of building it and lost a location, so I looked up where I could be, and that is when I found out the map size and biome placements. I wish I never did. I also hadn't built a radio until very far in the game because I couldn't find the damn cave sulfur. Thought it was a late game item, straight face. Incredible game though. This is one of the first games that came to my mind. I fully agree the second playthrough is a lot weaker. The sequel isn't really different enough to feel completely new either, which makes me kind of sad. The Witcher 3. Absolutely amazing game. How have I not seen Hollow Knight? Dropped like 50 HRS and it kept me coming back for more and more. Great atmosphere and loved finding new areas, bosses, really anything. Such a great time. I think lots of people still have yet to play this gem for the first time. Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, there's some magic in those games. Fallout. All of them. In the early 2000s, as a middle school kid, Kingdom Hearts was the best video game experience ever. I'm with you. That game hit right in the 8th grade, something fierce. Life is Strange, The Last of Us, Detroit, Become Human, Halo 3, Alan Wake. Chrono Trigger. First 3 games of Sly Cooper. That game was my shit when I was in middle school. Outer Wilds. It's a game you can really only play once, sadly. I came here for this. What I would give to do another play though. Ugh. So good. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That game completely defined me as an early teen. Yes, I know the remaster is coming and I am pumped. The Legend of Zelda, first game I bought after buying my NES after mowing lawns for money all summer. Minecraft, because all I want to see again is a village that was fully buried underground. And beginning the tutorial. My first zombie scared the hell out of me when I was 9. It was just the most amazing experience. That's all I want to see again. That's what got me into the game. Also, whenever I find a village I think please let there be a house buried. It also got me into the game Night 999 series. Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. World of Warcraft. I will never ever forget my first night playing the game. Gave into peer pressure from a friend and started a human warrior since I had no idea what my friend played and just wanted to get a feel for the game. 14 hours my first day playing, and the next day when I saw him at work he gave me his information and I was able to start a new orc warrior on his server. Joined his guild, who are still some of the best people I've ever met in game, and played 12 hours the following night. This was during the beginning BC when leveling was still a bit slow, but they had 3 people plus my friend in a group with me, gearing me up and teaching me a ton. I still try to play off and on, but life gets in the way. Final Fantasy VII. Bloodborne. Nothing like your first night in the city of Yharnam. Back when that mob in the town square was terrifying, and the wolf-like beast seemed impossible. For sure. I wish my first playthrough had been solo instead of co-op. Sad face. I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed.